I don't do a lot of small goals or huge goals. Like I like to have one goal that I read on my phone or piece of paper, wherever I want to put it. It's one goal, and like everything that goes into that one goal is the body of work because that's just where I want to end up. So it's to win on the PGA Tour. Everything that I've wanted in this game revolves around winning on the PGA Tour. So as long as that goal is in the front of my head, like I'm going to be doing the right things to get there.
Hello, my name is Matt Brose of Lockton. In my role, I consult with employers all around the country related to their employee benefits strategy. We're in conversations all the time about how to attract the best talent and get the best out of their people. Work ethic, integrity, those are all traits of people that pursue excellence, and it doesn't even stop there. From the boardroom to the storeroom, we're going to find out what drives those people. Welcome to the excellence culture. This is going to be an excellent adventure. Welcome to the excellence culture. This is exciting stuff. I've got two up-and-coming legends, I would say, in the room here with me, and Pierceson and Parker Coody. Some of you may know who they are, some of you may not, because I know this community is not just all golfers, right? But these are two of probably the most exciting up-and-coming guys coming to the PGA Tour next year. You guys just qualified for the PGA Tour, which is super exciting, and they happen to be twins, if you can't tell. So it's exciting opportunity, and they're Longhorns. So we got to say that. So hook 'em horns. But appreciate you guys joining me, and thanks for taking the time to do this.
No, this is a lot of fun for us, and yeah, hook 'em always.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So I'd like to start. Who's the oldest out of you two?
I am.
You
Parker.
Okay.
We can, but
yeah,
Pierceson doesn't usually like that too much. But I mean, it's not like I'm an older brother or anything. We're
how
still
many
twins.
how many minutes?
34.
34 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't
it's a
make,
lifetime.
Doesn't no, exactly. It's nothing. Might as well say seconds. Doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. Well, I want to kind of hear, and this is going to be really interesting because usually when I've got two people that I interview, they're vastly kind of different. So one's got one story, one has another. Your stories are kind of intertwined. So we're going to see how this goes. But I do want to kind of hear a little bit about your upbringing and really just kind of start, like, where did you guys grow up?
Yeah, so grew up here in Plano, Dallas Metroplex. Went to Plano West and then to Texas. But yeah, growing up, we were just doing sports, just whatever it was. It was football, basketball, baseball, and golf were kind of like our main four. And we were pretty good at football, pretty good at baseball, and kind of basketball was for fun during the winter and whatnot. But when we got to our freshman year of high school, we kind of realized golf was most likely our best option to be in the sports world for a long time.
Well, what I know you guys is that you're very athletic. And I think the game of golf has become an athletic game. When I was playing, it wasn't. So not many people think of me as an athlete. But for you guys are athletes. Maybe Parker, maybe you can kind of share a little bit about just some of the, values that you guys kind of grew up with and childhood and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think first and foremost, we grew up going to St. Andrews Methodist Church, right in Plano. I mean, luckily our parents instilled that value, the Christian, just what that means for us. And so
that's cool.
it's definitely a big part of our life. And then from that, luckily I feel like our parents did raise us well. I mean, taught us
I've gotten to know
respect
Kyle
others.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Kyle's a great guy.
And I mean, I truly couldn't both love our parents to death. So I think they raised us right. It's just what we should do, right, the rights and the wrongs. I mean, little things that hopefully now that we are out of the house, we can pass down to others, or who knows, one day our kids.
Yeah, that's cool, man. And I know, so a lot of people watching this don't know that your grandfather is Charles Coody, who won the 71 Masters.
Yeah.
And I was kind of going back and seeing some pictures of you guys caddying. How old were you in those pictures when y'all were caddying in that par 3 competition?
I'm pretty positive our first year was 2006, so we
Okay.
probably would have been about 6. And then what he would do is we would caddy every other year, and then on between those years he kind of would just it was Make-A-Wish Foundation. He would have a kid that loved golf or a couple of kids that loved golf, and they would do a couple holes for him, and then another Make-A-Wish kid. So we would alternate between years, and we had some really cool opportunities and tell the story all the time. But I think it was 2008 on the third hole. And at Augusta, they had those big coolers you see on all the tee box and everything, and Parker and I are just kids digging in the cooler trying to find the red Powerade or whatever, and he makes a hole in one, and everyone just goes nuts, and we like pop our head out of a cooler, and we're like, what happened? He's like, it went in, and we're like, no it didn't, and everyone's like, your granddad made it, and all this stuff. And so yeah, we've been incredibly fortunate just to be around the game for a long time, and then experiences like that kind of make it over the moon.
Yeah. So what's your earliest memory of being at Augusta? Do you remember the first time? Or I guess y'all were probably babies when we went there, but
when we were 6, I think 2006 was our first year when we did caddy in the par 3 contest.
Yeah.
And we were with Fred Couples and Lucas Glover.
No, that was 2010. That was the year after Lucas won the.
Okay, so that was the first year we putted then.
Yeah, that's probably my first memory is when we started. The hole in one is just kind of like a blur of like I remember that one snippet.
Yeah.
But my first memory like at Augusta was what he's talking about with Lucas Glover and Fred Couples in 2010, and we got to putt and do all this stuff on the greens. Now that we were kind of becoming our own golfers, or however you want to put it, we were old enough to actually play, and so our granddad would let us putt on the greens for him, and so that's it sounds like his first memory also of like truly being at Augusta.
Yeah.
And we were fortunate where we each made whatever, like a 20 to 30 footer. I mean, I made one on 4, and then yours was on 9.
And they both ended up on like Sports Center top 10 and
Really?
stuff. Yeah, it was just kind of a crazy thing. We both made these 30 footers, and just awesome crowd reaction and everything. They got everything on Augusta's on camera. So just awesome.
Yeah, that's so cool. Okay, so we're going to stay with Augusta a little bit. Were y'all going to Augusta basically every year? Even when you weren't caddying, or just on the years?
No, just the years. I mean, just the years that we caddied. So, almost 24 now. And we went through a period. We didn't go in college with our granddad. We went with the Texas golf team.
Yeah.
But with our granddad, we probably went in middle school and all that stuff maybe 5 times or so.
Okay.
I truly couldn't tell you exactly how many years. So.
Any other favorite memories from your times of going to Augusta?
I remember watching Bubba and Louis playoff. We were on 18 right there, and we were able to get right on that right bunker, right on top of it, and we could see everything. And we go down there. What was it? It was Bubba and Louis, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And obviously 10's the shot Bubba slung around the corner, but you could hear the roar, because we didn't want to move on 18.
So y'all were by the green.
We were on 18.
Yeah.
You could hear it, and then obviously the rest is history on 10 for Bubba. But I mean, the way sound travels out there is incredible. I think that's one of the coolest things about Augusta. And so some of those memories, I mean, because we've been on 18 green. I mean, that's just kind of what we would do. Saturday, Sunday, if we were there, we would camp out on 18 green, watch the final groups come up, and to hear the roars when someone makes an eagle, or on 13 or 15, or someone sticks it close on 16. It's just crazy how the sound travels. And
it's like a dome. Yeah,
right,
it's like it's in a dome.
And I don't think no one really realizes that till they're there and they hear that from hundreds, I mean, thousands of yards away from, and you're up, I mean, crazy uphill too. The elevation there, and people don't realize that either. But hearing that stuff does give you chills.
Yeah.
Makes you want to do it too.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so so continuing to grow up, other sports were kind of competing for y'all's attention. You said at 13 you kind of focused on golf?
Yeah, whatever year going into freshman year of high school. So 13, 14.
Yeah, 13, probably 14.
Yeah.
What was, for you, Pierceson, what was number 2 sport? Like,
I mean, I loved football. I just, all 5'9" of me probably wasn't gonna take it as far as I wanted to, and again, I always knew I was better at golf, but it's kind of one of those things like our parents gave us so much free reign to like, okay, you're gonna go to baseball practice, you're gonna go to basketball practice, you're gonna go to football, and you're gonna go do golf on the weekend. It was just like this kind of just open door of like, okay, you get to go choose what you want to do, spend your time practicing and all that stuff, and it just got to a point where I would show up to a golf tournament, I would perform a lot better than I would at a basketball game or a football game, even though I felt like I was good and would have done varsity and all that stuff for those sports also. I just was better at golf, and given the family history, the teaching and everything, I was just in a much better I was just in a much better place to go chase golf. And I guess calling 13, 14 just a little piece of wisdom was just, all right, let's go do golf.
Yeah.
And it's been great ever since.
Well, I want to ask Parker the same question. Did you have a number 2, or was it football? Or
mine was actually baseball.
It was? Okay.
Yeah, I was on a baseball team with still some of our best friends, and it was one of those select teams that we traveled. And
yeah.
I mean, I loved it to death. And
what position?
I played second base and I pitched.
Okay.
I felt like I was good in those positions, but I was never a great hitter.
Yeah.
I mean, just the golf and the baseball, it just doesn't really match that well.
Yeah.
And it was, but that was no doubt my second. I mean, but it's kind of same thing you said, all 5'9". I mean, unless things really turned around, especially with how baseball and golf swings, you kind of got to make a choice going. And so that was the same for me going into 9th grade, and it was time just to focus on golf and do that.
Yeah. So was that kind of a decision you guys solely made, or were you getting encouragement from your parents, like, hey, it might be time to focus on? And I sense that there's never a whole lot of pressure from your parents, but I'm interested in hearing maybe from your parents' perspective, was there encouragement, or how was that?
I don't from our parents.
I don't remember that for me either. I don't remember, sorry to interrupt,
no.
I don't remember my dad telling me you've got to make a decision. But I do remember my dad saying, hey,
right.
golf seems to be the thing, and if you really want to do something special, you might need to get some more focus in it.
I mean, I think that's
Yeah.
I don't. There wasn't like a sit down. Hey guys.
Yeah.
I remember.
Let's make a decision.
Yeah. I remember getting like recruitment letters that same, like before all the rule changes and everything. Like you used to be able to recruit golfers in middle school or whatever, and just get their attention. And I remember like stuff started showing up in 8th grade, and that's probably when our dad was like, "Hey, y'all are about to go to high school. Things are gonna get." I just remember him kind of nudging us in the right direction of like, hey, things are gonna get really serious. These coaches they're gonna try and nudge you one way, like you should at least get down to like 2 sports or something like that. It was just, I don't know, it was a very parently well thought out just nudge in the right direction. But at that age I didn't think anything of it, and I was like, yeah, you're right, like I probably, if I want to be the best at something, I should. I'm 14, like I don't have this huge window. I should probably try and be the best I can to go play in college.
Yeah, that's good. Well, I kind of want to get into the competition between you guys a little bit. Would you, I'm just going to blanket just ask, like, what was the competition with you guys growing up to the point that y'all were getting serious with golf? Was it always healthy? Was it hard at times?
We've, first and foremost, we've always competed, like in everything we've done. I mean, just quite frankly, even stupid things, like stuff we shouldn't be competing in. But it's, I mean, now looking back on it, and we still do compete. I mean, we were competing yesterday. It's very healthy. I mean, it pushes us both, and we're always, luckily now that we both do play Merito and stuff, I mean, we're always out there mostly together and chipping contests, just stuff like that. That's always making us better and hopefully keeping us both sharp. So when we're under the gun, it's there. I mean, I think looking on it now, it's very healthy.
Yeah, growing up, I don't think you could put us in the same room and we not find a way to compete at something, whether who can just throw the football the furthest or hit the one, call shots on the driving range and stuff like that. And like Parker said, just looking back on it, it's like, wow, like I hope that for my kids. I hope everyone kind of has that opportunity, because I think we're here a big part of just how constantly competitive we were. And like you said, just going and playing casual 9 holes, it's like, all right, we got to go play for something. And there's a lot of pride to beat each other, but at the end of the day, it's healthy. But it's made us work very diligently to just beat each other, and it's crazy that we've both kind of rise through the ranks together doing that.
Yeah, that's cool. I think it would be cool for people to hear. I feel a lot of, for somebody like you guys and the success that you guys are experiencing right now, a lot of that is due to probably the work that you put in middle school and like high school. Okay, because as you know, you get asked to be on podcasts and that kind of stuff. Now you get a lot of distractions, but when you're in high school, you've got a lot more time to really practice, right? What would the day in the life of you guys be like when you were in high school, like in the summers, when all you've got is golf? Like, when were you guys waking up? When were you guys going to the golf course? That kind of stuff.
I mean, I remember he'll probably tell you the same thing. This was some of the most fun we've ever had, but it was summer golf at Glen Eagles. It was with us two and a few of our buddies that are still great friends today. We had phones, but like it was just a common understanding. Show up there like 8 to 9, somewhere in there, and we're gonna try to sneak off because Glen Eagles is booked up. So we try to sneak off. We would play as many holes as we can. We would eat lunch. We would come back, and then we'd go back out for our final 18 and play till it's dark. I mean, I can't tell you how many matches we finished in pitch black. I mean, just chasing golf balls. Like, I hit it. I have no idea where that went, and it's almost like nostalgia thinking back about it. I mean, that was so much fun, but it was sun up to sundown.
It's different now, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got other responsibilities, that kind of stuff. But
yeah.
Is that your same memory?
Oh, yeah, same thing. It's when you said, what did your summer day look like? It's asking mom how fast can I get to the golf course. And luckily we moved that same time frame going into freshman year. We moved onto the golf course where we grew up at Glen Eagles. So as soon as we did that, I mean, we woke up, and it wasn't like it is now where, okay, I'm going to check my tags, I'm going to check my calendar, make sure I don't have anything going on before I do my next thing. It was just wake up and just go straight to the golf course as soon as my eyes opened. And then, yeah, like you said, it was 12, 13-hour days. I just loved it so much. I still love it, but it's just different. It's just like the pure enjoyment of being able to, I don't know, however old you are, just 12 hours with your best friends, and we're all doing the same thing together. There was nothing better.
That's such a great thing about golf. I don't know what other sport you can say that, like, I practiced for 12 hours a day and I loved it.
Yeah, I don't
Could
know.
you imagine practicing football for 12 hours?
No, you wouldn't be able to move the next day. I mean,
you call it practice, but at that age, it just feels like fun. It feels like you just went to the best trampoline park of all time.
Yeah.
Like, you're just going to play for $5 against your buddies, and it's just like passing out candy. Everyone just loves it so much. You just do it every single day.
Yeah. Oh, man, I love that. Okay, so you guys are certainly excelling in junior golf. And I would assume that y'all are playing AJGA, everything, all that kind of stuff. When did you guys have a desire to go to college together?
You want to tell that story?
Yeah.
No, not particularly. We were very similar in, like we are today, that like we played junior golf, AJGA, like you said, and Legends Junior Tour around Texas is a good tour for juniors. And so we started to play well. Everything just feels like golf for us just accumulated and built up to this kind of freshman year point. And that's when we started to get recruited and just golf only, and again, playing these tours. And our dad, once we started to get recruited, was like, I don't want y'all to make a decision together. Like, don't talk about it. We're going to do all these visits to these schools and everything, and just don't talk about it. Keep your thoughts to yourself. And when it's time to make a decision, we're going to do it separately. And so we saw Auburn, we saw Oklahoma State, saw Texas, Baylor. A bunch of schools kind of just didn't want to go West Coast, just being from Texas. Wanted to stay moderately in the South, and so it became Texas and Oklahoma State. And And truthfully, I think we both would have gone to Oklahoma State if we hadn't gone to our last visit to Texas our sophomore year. And it just went awesome. We had great seats to be the #1 team in the country in basketball. And just everything just kind of, the momentum just kind of switched to Texas because of the way they treated us and some things that had happened. And so our dad, we came home after that, I think 3rd visit from Texas, and he kind of.
Was that visit together?
Yeah, everything was together, but again, like
but
car
the
ride.
decision making.
Yeah, he kind of talked to us individually, and so we got home. And about a week later, he goes, "All right, I want you to both kind of just write down on a piece of paper where you want to go to school, and don't talk to each other, and just hand me the piece of paper." And we both put Texas, and once we both had kind of made our decision, handed him that whatever piece of paper that said Texas, he said, "All right, well, it's time to call Coach Fields and tell him." And so we did all the visits together and everything, but truthfully, for about a year and a half, we really didn't talk about it at all.
You both decided it was the best place for you individually.
Yes,
exactly.
And I think everybody in the world should go to Texas.
I mean, yeah, I think I'm at this point pretty biased on that too.
After the experience there, I can't even imagine going anywhere else.
Yeah. So Coach Fields was my coach too. I was in his first recruiting class at Texas. So it's kind of cool because y'all have, Coach Fields has just learned how to be a coach at Texas, when I was there. And then now he's a legend and he's y'all's coach. I asked Coach what I should ask you, and he said, ask him who's the most handsome. And so you don't have to answer that. But that's all he had to say. That he is a great guy. I owe a lot to Coach Fields. How was he as a coach for you guys?
I mean, he was everything you could ask for as far as a coach. I mean, just like any player-coach relations, there's their ups and downs, and I mean, but he'll do anything for you, no matter where you are, no matter how bad it is. Like, he'll be there for you, which is saying a lot for a coach who's, I mean, it's just. Sorry, I'm saying this poorly, but
no, you're good.
No, he'll do anything for you, and it's like Pierceson was saying, wouldn't change anything about our experience, and especially the coaches we had.
Yeah. And John Paul was one of y'all's coaches too.
Yeah,
he's a stud.
John Paul's awesome. Yeah, I'll just reiterate that going to Texas, like Coach Fields would tell us that first, your family, like Parker said, he's going to do absolutely everything he can for you, and then second is like, you showed up to Texas because you represent the brand, you represent the university. And so, like, similar to our parents, like, we just didn't have a ton of rules. It was like, you're here at Texas, I expect you to perform, I expect you to kind of honor your commitment. And it was just a mutual understanding of, like, that's what we're going to do. And so, we had an awesome relationship, awesome time.
Yeah. And one of y'all were part of the Silver Spurs, right?
Yes, we both did it.
Were. Okay.
Handful of golfers, kind of.
Really?
Yeah.
See, that wasn't allowed when I was there.
Coaches softened with age.
But the Silver Spurs, would you call that a fraternity? Was that a fraternity?
Kind of. I truly don't know its official.
It's technically a social organization is what it's listed as. But
Gotcha.
I mean, it is made up of
mostly
guys from fraternities and what they call independents who are not a part of fraternity. I mean, they're just regular students is not the right word because everyone's technically regular students, but they're not with a fraternity. And I mean, there's definitely a lot more on the giving back side with Silver Spurs, which is, I think, the reason Coach Fields over time has allowed guys to do it. Because, I mean, there is the social aspect of it.
Yeah.
But it's, I mean, hindsight we both had a great experience.
Yeah. And on behalf of the Silver Spurs, was there an understanding that there's a lot of conflicts, you guys might not be able to quite be as involved as maybe some other Silver Spurs?
100%. I mean, they were extremely understanding that. And, I mean, because if they weren't, we wouldn't be able to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
And for them to allow us to be a part of that and, frankly, miss a handful of stuff that you probably should be at. And really, really nice on their part, at least.
Yeah. All right, so we're still in college, and we've got a good golf team, right? And it's not easy to win a national championship. You guys won a national championship. And so I would love to hear, so for those that are listening, the national championship in golf, there's a stroke play portion, which kind of seeds the teams, right? Mm-hmm. and then after the stroke play, then the teams are seeded? Or does that seeding go based on your ranking throughout the year?
No, it's 72 holes cut after 36. So it's 32 teams. Then it's 36 holes cut to 15 teams. 36 more holes cut to 8 teams. And how you finish in that 8-team category is your seed going into match play.
Okay. And so what was the belief on your team that you guys could do this?
It was really high.
You were ranked like number 4 at the time?
Yes, yeah. Ever since we kind of showed up our freshman year, Parker and I, Cole Hammer, I guess the ball just kind of got rolling for us early. We finished runner-up our freshman year. We lost to Stanford, and we beat the Oklahoma State team that had Matt Wolf, Victor Hovland, Chris Ventura. They had 4 out of 5 PGA Tour players, and then another PGA Tour player that was not even in their lineup. So that was arguably one of the best college teams that's like been around for a long time, and we beat them in the semifinals our freshman year. And so ever since that moment, we just kind of had this huge belief that like we were going to get it done. And then number 1 team sophomore year, COVID, no national championship, huge disappointment. Junior year, I got really sick and couldn't compete at NCAAs, and the team just didn't quite push it over the edge, didn't make match play. So senior year, it just kind of felt like this. The weight kind of got a little heavier, but we had this unbelievable round, our final round, to kind of jump to the 3rd or 4th seed, and we were kind of teetering on around that 8 number, which is disappointing, but it's crazy how that one round can just jumpstart so much momentum.
Yeah.
And that's really, truly what match play is. It's just so much momentum. You can see the guys out on the course. You can just kind of feel it. There's leaderboards everywhere. And after that round, we never were even, I say never even close, because we closed well, but we just kind of rolled through. The last 2 days of match play just felt like a blur, and then all of a sudden we were holding the trophy. But the belief in each other it was huge.
Yeah, yeah. You guys both won your final match, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And you like hammered the guy, didn't you?
yeah. My guy struggled a little bit, and I'd been playing great all week, and it was just a nice combination. And
like 6 and 5.
Yeah, got to watch a lot of golf.
Yeah.
I tell you what, that was probably the worst though. I mean, because you can't control anything, right? Like you're doing your part, and you accomplish it faster than you thought, and then you have an hour and a half of watching. I mean, because like individual golf, Korn Ferry PGA Tour golf, any other golf other than high school or college golf where you have teammates, doesn't matter what anyone else does. I mean, you can only control your stuff, right? But all of a sudden this team aspect gets thrown into an individual sport, and it's
pressure.
It's a crazy different feeling. And to do my part, I was super happy. And I'll never forget walking off that 13th green. Noah Gay was walking with us, and he's like, "Hey man, like y'all are looking pretty good. Just go get it home." And I'm like, basically, congrats. And I'm like, "Oh, like awesome. Here we go." And the next hour and a half was just painful.
Yeah.
Because then we kind of slowed down. Arizona State made a little push, and
so did you go watch somebody?
I was just watching everyone. Because I was the second match out, so I finished. Cole was in front of me. And so I stayed on 13, watched the guys come through the par 3, and then all of a sudden the last 4 or 5 holes all just kind of wrapped around right there, and you're just living and dying with every putt, but you can't have a reaction, right? Like, unless they make it. But if they miss a putt they're supposed to make or lose a hole,
it's unbelievable how mental the game of golf is.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you didn't want to put more pressure on your teammates or.
Right. All you can do is you can be the best cheerleader you could be and hope for the best.
So if you would have finished and just went and started following your brother, would that have been a good thing or a bad thing? Would you have said no?
I was kind of in a match that, I guess because I was third, and I was playing Arizona State's kind of like their guy, and so Arizona from that area, so had a huge following. And I played the Ryan Nelson and Walker Cup and stuff, but like kind of COVID times, there hadn't been like these huge followings, and all of a sudden there's 400 or 500 people watching this one group just because he's a local guy at Arizona State, kind of he's just a big name, and so I was paired against him, and I was 2 up with 2 to go, and 17 is this drivable par 4, and I could tell Parker all of a sudden, like, it went from like 400 to like 600 or 700. Like the whole hole just became like swarmed, and it was just a pivotal part because you go to 18, anything can happen on 18. I was 2 up with 2 to go, and I luckily drove it right next to the green, chipped it to 3 feet, but that 3-footer was. Yeah. It was. I mean, I truthfully to this day, like, the only putt that, like, I've like been like, all right, like, I need to slow down. I need to, like.
Were you physically shaking?
Like, I mean, after the putt went in, for sure. Like, the adrenaline's just so much, but that's what's awesome about team golf. And you hear a lot of guys even say, talk about, like, Ryder Cup, and you feel it more in team golf because you put this weird expectation on yourself that, like, you don't want to let the other guys down. Yeah. And you don't have that in individual golf, even for a major or anything. You're not letting anyone down other than yourself, and you're only performing for yourself. But the team golf aspect just adds a whole nother level, and it's just special.
Yeah. So so we're gonna kind of we're through college, but I want to ask you guys, because we've got, you know, Coach Fields in your life, you've got your dad, you've got your grandpa. Any other mentors or teachers or people that just first person that comes to mind, somebody who's influential in your life into where you've gotten and how?
I mean, I would say, we both work with Josh Gregory, and I mean, he's been, as far as golf.
Instructor.
Yes, instructor. He's been.
Where's he at?
He's at Merida for the most part, but he travels 30 plus weeks on tour, so he's gone 90% of the time. But I mean, I say Josh, and obviously Pierceson can say his people too, but then my other swing instructor is Troy Denton. I mean, truthfully, when we started working together, I was pretty down on my golf game, and it's the past few years has been really good, and have had a big turnaround in just the way I hit the ball, and I credit a lot of that to him. I mean, it was just, and I mean, he's also a great guy, and I mean, just like Coach Fields and Josh too, like, these people do anything for you, and it's not all about golf all the time. Like, if you need them outside of that, I mean, they're there, and they truly mean it. It's like, and you know that. So
it can't be all about golf, because
no, it can't.
Golf, like, so much of it's a mind,
right?
You know, which involves life.
I mean, like, I know it's our life seems a lot like golf, but truly have a lot of fun, like, outside of, like, with our friends when the golf's not really involved. But I mean, I guess, I mean, truthfully, like, Will's Outdoors, who you know, I mean, he's been great to Pierceson and I, and I mean, I hope he doesn't see this because I might let it go to his head, but he's been great, and truly, it's the same thing as what I just said about everyone else. I mean, he do a lot for Pierceson and I, and he might give us a hard time, but he really does means well for us, and just he's given us a lot of information that hopefully we can use next year.
Yeah, love it. How about you? Anybody you want to add to that?
Outside of golf, when we got to Austin freshman year, we kind of trying to find, like, a CGF, college golf group, and the FCA at Texas, which is us being at UT Golf Club 30 minutes from campus, and the FCA being at like 6 o'clock. The sun hasn't gone down yet, so it just didn't make a lot of sense. And we got set up with a guy named Austin Stockfish, who he just kind of led a Bible study for us every year, and he's a business guy that got contacted by one of his friends, was kind of leading the FCA. He's like, hey, I have this group of golfers that they want to be able to do something, like, can you help them? And ever since that moment, for 4 years, we met almost every week to do our Bible study, just talk, and pretty much just a 2-hour dinner every week. And then even after college, I've stayed in contact with him a lot, and he's just been he's been awesome for me, just kind of a outside of golf resource. And so he's kind of been just a guy that's, I felt like, for Parker, Cole, and I, been there since we showed up to college, and I still bounce ideas off him all the time.
That's awesome. I was pretty involved in that FCA at Texas too.
Yeah, it's a good setup.
At that time, there was maybe like 15 people going. I don't know what it's like now, but
it's 40, easily 40, 50.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
most sports represented?
Pretty much.
A good mix for sure.
There's a lot of time restraints on the 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock window. But for the sports that are free, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
a good turnout.
Yeah. Well, you know, when people leave college and people that are as successful as you guys that are in college, there's some people that have the expectation that they're going to get on tour immediately. There's some people that have the expectation that they're going to get on tour pretty quick. There's some people that have the expectation like, I'm going to just play until I get on tour. And those people, sometimes it takes 10 years, right? You guys, it happened really fast. For you, it happened very fast. And so I just kind of want to hear a little bit about that journey to the point where you guys earned your status on the PGA Tour. I know you had an interesting journey with your injury and that kind of stuff. Can you kind of bring us in the fold on that?
Yeah, so, gosh, I left school 2022 in June, and I was given automatic status on the Korn Ferry out of that PGA Tour University system. Finished number 1 in that system, so I got 8 starts in the Korn Ferry. I finished my second event, I finished 4th, and then I won my 3rd event that got me to right at that 30th number. And last year, 25 guys got a PGA Tour card, and it's this whole system, but the point is that I played those 8 events, I finished 30th, didn't get my PGA Tour card, and then there's another 3 tournament system that you can qualify that gives you 25 more PGA Tour cards. And that system's gone, but that was last year, and I had a good first event, was, again, right on track to get my PGA Tour card, and then the second event of that 3 tournament series, I fractured my hamate bone, and it was kind of like...
That's in the wrist?
Hand right here. It just took away... I mean, it takes away your ability to play. You have to have it removed. So yeah, I did not get my PGA Tour card in that summer, and I had kind of 2 dream situations to get it, and then my season ended the surgery, and I come home, had the bone removed, do the whole thing, and then show up this year, 2023, in the Bahamas where the Korn Ferry starts, and missed the first 2 cuts by a mile. Just played terrible, really kind of down on myself, and then all of a sudden, in my hand, it's still in a bad spot, but I'm playing because my season started. I kind of have to. You don't get medical exemptions. You don't get any of the perks you do on the PGA Tour. If you don't play, you don't play. And so I had to play, and I won my 3rd event this season in Panama. And as soon as the putt went in, I'd out of 4 inches to win the tournament, and I was already crying just because surgery's hard. You're just sitting there wondering, and my surgery's minor compared to a lot of guys that do back stuff, miss a whole year. I missed about 4 months, but it's still, the
timing of it though was crazy.
There's so much doubt. I would go to the range and I would just put the club in my hand and I would just cry. It felt so foreign, and you don't ever think you're gonna get back there. And yeah, to win a golf tournament again that close after having surgery, and then kind of get me back on pace to get my PGA Tour card, was absolutely a dream situation. But like you said, coming out of college, being at the time the number 1 player, it's a lot of expectation, but at the same time, you can channel that correctly. It's absolutely, if you'd asked me and put me on a lie detector test and said, do you expect to be on the PGA Tour? I would have said, in those first 8 events, I would have said absolutely. And if you said, do you expect to be on the PGA Tour after this year? I would have said absolutely. Just kind of an unwavering confidence in myself. But I'm not going to, exude that cockiness elsewhere. I'm going to channel it in the right places, in the gym, practicing. And that way, when I do have moments like in Panama, or I won again in Missouri, I can take that self-belief that I've done the right things and I'm going to execute. And that's kind of what I've been, highly touted as an amateur for a long time, and a lot of expectation, but I felt like I took it upon myself to channel it in the right direction. That it doesn't matter what anyone else is saying. If I'm doing the right work, I'm going to end up where I need to be.
Yeah. Did you have you ever had a mental coach at all?
I've worked with one kind of on and off, but I feel like the mental game's kind of been one of my strengths for a long time. And so truthfully, I haven't had one in a while. Never really had one full time, other than a conversation here or there. But no.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing. And from an outside looking in, when you went through that injury, I remember sitting with you in the locker room or something like that, and you were trying to be really positive.
Trying.
And you didn't show any weakness at all. But I was like, man, that's got to be tough. But he's not seeming like it's tough at all. But
you just wander in some dark places. But I mean, it's kind of like a fake it till you make it situation. Like, I know I'm eventually going to be healthy. I know I'm going to eventually feel good again.
Yeah.
Knock on wood, fingers crossed situation. But if you let yourself creep into those dark times all the time and poor pitiful me situation, like, it's just not going to work out. I was given the opportunity to go play a year on the Korn Ferry, and every person around me, coach and everything, said, this is the best thing for you. You're going to have a full year to become the best professional you can, and then go to the PGA Tour prepared. And so I took that to heart, and for a whole year, that was my mindset. Every day I showed up to the golf course, I'm taking this year to get prepared for the PGA Tour, and trying to do it again.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Well, Parker, tell me about your journey to this point after college.
Yeah, I mean, on that PGA Tour youth system, I was 13th. I mean, so that got me PGA Tour Canada, which is PGA Tour, Korn Ferry, and then there's the Latin Tour in Canada. They're the same thing, there's different seasons.
Yeah.
And went out to Canada, didn't truly get off to a great start. I mean, I had to finish 15th in my first event, missed the next 3 cuts in a row, and I was like, pretty down on myself, like truly not really believing myself. Like, I don't know. I mean, he had all the success like super early, and I was like, I don't know. And then I don't know what changed, came home, really worked on a few things, and go win the next event by 8 shots. I was like, well, all right, maybe I am not too bad at this sometimes. And I mean, that win was a huge stepping stone in my belief, like, okay, I can't actually do this. And then went through Korn Ferry Q School, got through second stage, and then I just had a bad final stage, played pretty poorly, didn't really get any start, or didn't guarantee my starts. You got to finish in the top 40 there, out of like 100, I don't know, it was like 180 guys or something to guarantee Korn Ferry starts. And I didn't do that, and frankly, I finished like 100th, and so that gets you really nothing. And I was fortunate with just playing some good college golf that I was able to get some sponsor exemptions, missed a bunch of cuts by a shot, and then the one tournament I was going well at Veritex, poor final round, finished 50th. That's really not going to get you much anyway. I sneak into Field in Alabama. This is probably, in my head, I'm thinking this is my last opportunity. Missed the cut again by 1, and that's when it's pretty down on myself again. Like, what am I doing? I mean, because it's an awful way to think about it, but truly, at the beginning of the season, all I needed to do was make a cut with a halfway decent finish, like a 30th place finish, would guarantee me at least this middle of the season.
Yeah.
And to not do that, because I mean, I felt like I was very capable of doing that. But like I said, I was thinking about it in a really poor way. And I went to Byron Nelson. I work with a sports psychologist named Neil Smith, and he had me actually write out like what I want to achieve through this golf game. And I still read it all the time today. It's in the front of my notebook, and it's just like a little daily reminder of what I want to achieve. How am I going to do this every day? And it really changed a lot for me of my perspective. I'm not going out there to just to beat a certain guy. Like, I'm trying to be the best I can. I can't control what he does or anyone else does. And had a good tournament at Byron Nelson. I mean, not a good Saturday, but I had a great Sunday where we played a reverse horseshoe. And so I was in the back of the pack on the other side of the golf course. And I mean, I didn't have the pressure of the lead or anything, but I shot 7 under when the leaders were playing at the same exact time. When I was playing 9, Scotty was coming up 18 too.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
And that gave me a lot of confidence. And so I had a spot in the Colonial in a week, not next week, but the following week, so 2 weeks. And I'll never forget staying in that parking lot. It was my dad, caddy, agent, and myself, and we're talking. It's like, do I stay? Do I get ready for Colonial? Or do I go do this Monday qualifier and try to Monday for Kansas City? And I'm thinking in my head, I don't want to go back to Canada. I still have my Corn Ferry status where if I do collect points, I'm eligible for the reshuffle. And I go do the Monday qualifier, get in at 2:30, or get 2 in the morning. I'm 7:30, first ball in the air, make it through the qualifier, and then before I know I finish.
This is in Kansas City.
This is Kansas City, and finished 5th in that tournament, and all of a sudden the rest is history. And got on a nice run, had multiple top 5 finishes, and then now I'm sitting here with my PGA Tour card. I mean, it's the ups and downs that have led to this point have been pretty crazy. I mean, just from it, he's been obviously extremely successful. One right out of college, and then one to start this year. And I mean, it's hard not to compare yourself, right? Like, I mean, we do everything together. I'm like, I can beat this guy. I mean, what the hell? Like, and so I'm just very happy we're both sitting here. I mean,
I know, it's cool.
Yeah, and so.
Well, huge credit to you, and because I could not imagine some of the mental gymnastics that's going on in your head when your brothers made it, and you want to be there. You've got doubt working, all that kind of stuff, but then you get through it. Like, there's some serious strength there, and so huge credit, like, to you, because I don't know if I didn't do it, but
it's hard
that's
to like
hard, man.
It's hard to put into words, like, truly, like, the chances of a Monday qualifier are so, as you know, golfers know, 4 out of 156 guys is so few spots, and then to go finish 5th and whatever, it was looking at from the outside looking in on with the way he did it, with only 50% of the Corn Ferry events left, he got on the field, finished 5th, and then rattled off like 5 more top 5 to get a PGA Tour card. It's like,
it's so
it doesn't even
close.
seem real. It's that's what people tweet about. That's the dream. That's why people go Monday qualifying. It's like, wow. We did it 2 different ways, but to end up in the same spot, it's awesome.
That's some good fuel going into what you're doing.
Yeah, I'll definitely use that.
Yeah,
hopefully.
No doubt, man. Okay, so we're going to kind of wrap this up, but I want to hear what kind of, if you were to, in a few sentences or a paragraph or whatever, you do whatever you want, but kind of explain what your mindset is going into this season for you guys.
Yeah, this has been a very popular question, and again, like, a lot of inner confidence. Like, the goal for every tournament is to win. I don't do a lot of small goals or huge goals. Like, I like to have one goal that I read on my phone or piece of paper, wherever I want to put it. It's one goal, and like, everything that goes into that one goal is the body of work, because that's just where I want to end up. So it's to win on the PGA Tour. Everything that I've wanted in this game revolves around winning on the PGA Tour. So as long as that goal is in the front of my head, like, I'm going to be doing the right things to get there.
Yeah, that's awesome. So that's the goal. How about you?
I mean, I do like some of the little, I guess, stepping stones into it. I mean, but obviously, main goal is to win on the PGA Tour. I mean, but one of my big things is I can't control what other people are doing around me. I mean, I can only control what I do. And I mean, and what he said is the same thing.
Everybody.
Correct. Exactly.
Sure.
But
Scotty, please don't stuff it.
Yeah. But as long as I'm doing like what I need to do to be the best golfer I can be, I mean, and whether that ends up winning majors, never winning, like, so be it. But I'm going to do everything I can to at least accomplish what I see myself being able to. And hopefully we're doing this 10, 15 years down the road and we're having similar conversation.
Yeah. And I mean, both of you guys have no reason to not believe that you're going to be playing at Augusta. All right.
Yeah, that's certainly. Yeah. That's certainly win on PGA Tour, and then playing Augusta definitely would be the second of that on that totem pole. But again, for me, they all kind of come together.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, you've never been short on confidence on us. I mean,
yeah.
We talked about it a little bit before, but when I was kind of in the dumps, and you're sitting there telling me like, you're gonna do it, like you're gonna do it, and we had breakfast that one morning, and it was. Yeah. Dude, do appreciate all that stuff.
That's even in the business world, man. Like, so I think when I was playing, my biggest weakness is that I didn't believe. I have no idea what was the reason to that or anything like that. But even in the business world, like you guys have a challenge in front of you. I've got challenges in front of me, and I've got to believe, not just kind of go through the motions and do it, but I've got to get my belief there. Right. In front of it that I'm going to accomplish it. So yeah. Well, it's been a blast getting to know you guys, and I can't wait to continue to get to know you guys and watch you guys. And I will be a supporter. I bet all these people watching will be a supporter. So we're rooting for you, man. Really appreciate you guys taking the time to sit down and welcome the excellence culture.
Of course. Thanks for having us.
This is awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, man.